tone of Nolan's ranting. He spoke to Nigel as if their brother was there, and he clearly blamed Nigel for all the difficulties the clan currently faced. The difficulties that, as laird, it was now Nolan's responsibility to deal with, to improve and rectify. Nolan had accepted the mantle of laird readily. If anything, Niniver would have said he'd been keen to show that he was up to the task. But as the weeks and months had passed, if she had to describe what she'd seen in Nolan, she would say he had crumbled under the weight. She and Norris, the youngest of her three brothers, had never been that close to Nigel and Nolan, who were older by more than 5 years. Yet over the last 8 or so months, Nolan had retreated even further from them, much like a crab backing deeper into its shell. The gulf between her and Norris and Nolan was now a gaping chasm, impossible to bridge. She'd given up trying. Walking out of the barn, she glanced at Ferguson. The heads of 4 clan families, Bradshaw, Forrester, Phelps, and Canning, were already at the ledge. Ferguson was another clan elder. 5 votes on the clan council constituted a majority. Niniver had a strong suspicion over why they wanted her there. She pulled her riding gloves from her pocket. "Are you returning to the manor, or will you come too?" "The others asked me to come," Ferguson said, "so I'll ride along with you." And that, she thought, confirmed it. Unsurprisingly, the clan had grown skeptical of Nolan's ability to manage and lead. They were preparing to confront him, possibly to take the lairdship from him, and they wanted her, his sister, but also the next oldest member of the main Carrick line, there as a witness. Pausing to lift her face to the spring sun, she closed her eyes, breathed in, then out. All she felt was a sense of inevitability, of being on a road from which there was no turning aside. With an inward sigh, she opened her eyes. Setting her lips, she strode for her big bay gelding, Oswald, waiting placidly by the fence. "In that case, let's go." After leaving Oswald tethered with the other horses a little way away, Niniver joined her clansmen in the fold to the south of the narrow ledge on which Nolan was pacing. Bradshaw, Phelps, Canning, and Forrester greeted her politely. Phelps and Bradshaw had brought their sons. After exchanging quiet hellos and nodding to Sean and the young groom he'd brought with him, she joined the others in studying Nolan. The rock ledge on which he paced was a little way down from the ridgeline, at an elevation slightly below their position. He strode agitatedly back and forth, half the time turned away from them. They only saw his face when he swung around, yet his attention remained elsewhere. He never looked their way. A stiff breeze was blowing from the northwest, making it unlikely he would hear them even if they called, but the breeze carried his words to them clearly. She hadn't set eyes on him for the last week. He'd taken to eating his meals in the library and avoiding all contact, not only with her and Norris, but with the household in general. Now as she looked across the shoulder of the ridge that lay between them, what she saw shocked her. Over the last months, Nolan had been growing more furtive, his expression more hunted, more haunted. Now he looked like a caricature of a madman, his eyes wild and staring, his hair, once as fair as hers, but now lank and dull, standing out from his skull at odd angles. His complexion, normally as pale as hers, was red and blotchy. Previously, he'd always dressed well, not just neatly, but expensively. Now his clothes looked as if he'd slept in them for days. Even more disturbing was the way he walked, jerkily, abruptly, like a puppet whose strings were being manipulated by some amateur puppeteer, with Nolan himself no longer in control. As for the words that spewed from his lips, "You bloody bastard! How was I to know it would be like this? But you knew, didn't you? You knew, and you never said..."